here we have the wild Dano in his natural habitat, playing an arcade game that not many people remember.
Quiet you.
Oh look, he's making a comeback.
Quiet, I'm spraying. Well, I was. I'm dead now.
And just like usual, he is nothing but a casual. The wild Dano isn't very good at arcade games, but he's an expert platformer. But this isn't normally that wild in terms of these games.
Spray!
The wild Dano lives on a daily diet of KFC and Monster Energy. His parents scrolling for us, but he does not care. Ah, I see the wild Dano is getting frustrated at his failings of being good at this game. It seems we have been spotted. Dano attempts to spray a giant monkey with his water gun.
Spank him in the ass.
John, are you spanking the monkey, Dano? Oh.
Game over.
Game over. No, fix it, Felix.
Long time no see, Retroheads. It is me, Lucario Dano. I'm a Pokemon now.
Look there, Vegeta. It's a Pokemon. Wanna catch it?
It's a Pokemon's. Yeah, hello. I'm so sorry. It's been like about 4 months since I last recorded a video for the YouTubes. I have my nephew Jack to my right here with me. Today we've been to Retro Revival again, the same place we went to last year, at Walsall FC, Bestcott Stadium, for retro gaming shenanigans, and we bought a few things that we're going to show off now, quite quickly, because Jack's got to go soon.
I've got a bit off now, it's not that much rush.
So, yeah, but I will do an update video soon, explaining why I've been away for a while, because there's a lot happening this year involving life and stuff and important things and being an adult. So
he's having to adult now. He doesn't want to. He has to.
But I have to. So
doesn't matter.
Yeah. But anyway, let's just move on to let's knock Lucario out of the way. Bye.
Bye, bitch.
Another game for this. Another game for the Mega Drive that I've been after for a while, and it's never cheap. This game these days, it's very desirable. Sunset Riders, the Mega Drive version only has 2 characters compared to the 4 on the Super Nintendo. I think this was originally an arcade game as well, I might be wrong. But I actually prefer the Mega Drive version. I think it has a better soundtrack, and I just prefer it. It's just nicer. And this is a game I've been after for a long time, and I paid £75 for it, which is a bit average for what you would spend.
And it came with 1 free like Lucario.
What you would buy today, yeah. And because I bought it, he gave us a free plushie, so Jack had a Lucario because of reasons.
Lucario's best Pokemon.
There's a cartridge. It has Sunset Riders on it. I've not tested it yet, but I will do in a bit. And it has the book as well, and the manual.
The place is called Retro Plushy Games. You'd wonder why they gave away a free Lucario, as I pointed out again.
Yeah, Retro Plushy Games. This is their card they give you before
they tend to get rare stuff in. Last year you got
they tend to get a lot of hard to find things in. Some of the stuff's a bit pricey, but it's good if you for hard to find stuff.
It tends to be good nick as well, so there's that.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Next thing I bought, I wasn't looking for one of these today, but I saw it and I thought, you know what, that's going to be great for future videos. This is an EverDrive for the Mega Drive, of course, or Genesis for my American friends. This cleverly disguised as Sega Mega Drive Ultimate Collection 16-bit cartridge. This actually has on it, because we've just been testing this out before we started recording, this actually has most Mega Drive games. It supports 99% of the library according to what the back says. This actually has a list of games for USA NTSC, Japanese NTSC and PAL, plus some really strange original games. There's a version of Angry Birds for the Mega Drive on this, and we played it and it actually kind of works.
So to an extent, it's a bit janky.
Yeah, it's a bit janky, but it's quite hilarious. And there's some betas on here and alphas as well. There's an alpha version of WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game on it, for example, and a couple of Sonic betas. But like most EverDrive carts, I'll just get that out for you now. There's no manual with this.
It's a fake.
Here's the cartridge. Sees the Sega Mega Drive collection on it. Mega Driver. It has a... Is this a micro SD?
8 gigabyte micro SD card.
8 gigabyte micro SD card, so you can take it out and put more ROMs on it if you want. Well, pretty much most of the games that you'd want to play is on this, and it's handy because you don't have to keep swapping out cartridges. And I know I've got a big Mega Drive collection now, but this will be handy just to play stuff.
Including the rarer stuff and various other ones you may not want to buy.
I believe that's a hard reset button on the back there.
But the clever thing with this tech, though, is that because you were a bit confused at the beginning, it was like it was erasing something, but what it was doing was erasing the onboard memory to then be replaced with to then load the ROM from the SD card. So it's a clever little way of them actually working it, and they all work really well.
Yeah.
Master System games will work right into the Mega Drive, which is great. So it means they've got some clever hardware in the Mega Drive itself.
It also has a built-in hard drive. Derp. It's not a PC, Dan. It has a built-in Game Genie, is what I was trying to say.
Yes.
If you like cheating. Cheater. And it also supports Mega CD and 32X games too.
Yes,
so, if you've got Mega CD ISOs, you can put them on here, and also 32X games. Although I would assume you'd need an actual 32X, a proper real one, to actually run those games. Which I do have, so... for my sins. So
you have the tumour.
So yeah, I'm just going to do a quick jump. Go on, Jack. Go on, mate.
I can't hold. My hands are so sweaty. I can't hold it. Penis key. Fucking thing! No, I can see it. That bitch.
Here we have the Master Man Dano playing the game I just played, because he is not uncasual, at least at this. Oh, it's so weird. You can see the refresh rate on the screen as it goes like.
Yeah. Well, that's a treat.
Go, Dano, go. Go, Dano, go. Go, Dano, go. Go, Dano, go. Go, Dano, go.
And we're back. And the final thing I bought today, again, not cheap, but I've been looking for one of these for a while in half decent condition, at least, is a Game Boy player for the GameCube, of course, Nintendo GameCube. Fits underneath, screws in, allows you to play Game Boy Advance games. I don't think it supports original Game Boy, although I might be wrong.
I think it does. I think at least Game Boy Color. I think this actually does support the Game Boy Color. I'm unsure on that.
I think it does actually. It just says play Game Boy games on TV.
Does it say anything on the back of this?
I just noticed this originally came from Comet.
Designed for the original Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance handheld systems.
Oh,
so it plays all of them. So this is basically.
I completely forgot about
This is basically like what the SNES or the SNES, whichever you want to call it. Had its own little cartridge thing that you could put a plug into the top, and you could sort of slide games into it.
The Super Game Boy.
That's the Super Game Boy.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the same idea, but instead it was the GameCube, just the Game Boy Color, and of course the.
So okay, yeah, it supports all Game Boy games. I wasn't sure. I knew it was Game Boy Advance primarily, but it does also support Game Boy Color and original Game Boy games.
And what this means basically, it's much easier to record footage for these Game Boy games.
Yeah. So we'll just open the contents.
Yes, it's and also it's so nice because last year I saw one of these and I bought it, then I had to give it back because unfortunately it didn't have the disc.
This one with it, which is what this
has the disc, which is always nice.
So there's the little case that comes in. There's the disc.
Got the other bits.
Just go closer there for you. Yeah, so you'll need this disc to run. It will not run directly off the hardware on its own.
There's a notes section in this manual. Like a manual. It's a book. It contains instructions how to do this thing, which mainly involves you slapping.
Funnily enough, as well, slapping this thing underneath your GameCube actually makes it more into a cube shape than what it actually is. So there's an eject button.
The GameCube is a lie.
So this goes underneath. This is the front, and I believe that's to support Game Boy Link cables. I might be wrong.
Yeah, because we saw those earlier. So
yeah.
Game Boy Link.
Cartridge goes in there. The original Game Boy games and Game Boy Color will stick out a little bit, but it still works, and it just slots in underneath your GameCube. And I'm going to try this out later. It's in pretty good condition. Pretty
shiny.
Pretty shiny still. No scuff marks on it or anything. So
I will be borrowing that to play my own Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, you will, will you?
If you wouldn't mind.
So Yeah, Game Boy Player, yay! That's pretty much all I bought today, really. But 3 quite, pricey items that I did have to sell some other stuff before today to kind of have some money to spend, because I've had to get rid of my Super Famicom, sadly. My Wii U is going to be going. I've sold most of my Wii games off. But I sold the Super Famicom because, I've got a Super Nintendo anyway with all the games on it, and it was just kind of just sitting there doing nothing, so...
He's getting very choked up about this right now.
I thought, now I've got the hiccups. So I thought, trade in a few things to get some money for this, because I need money for other things, like I said, life. So yeah, this originally came from Comet, apparently. So, yeah. Paid $75 for this. For the EverDrive, I paid $45. Did get some money knocked off though as well, so that was pretty much all of my money spent. Jack has some games for the original Xbox.
Do another jump cut due to.
I shall do another jump cut, and we'll also the. So Jack is playing Sega Galaga
On a Sega PC.
on one of these old beasts.
The control pad is a bit worn, yeah, but wow. This is a Sega game.
Sega SC3000 personal computer.
These are... I'm bad at this. This is... wow. These aren't cheap. These, I've actually looked...
I've never seen one of these before, ever.
These...
The beauty of these conventions, man.
These normally are about £300–400, and this isn't even this version. There was another one. There's 2. Actually, there's 3 or 4 of these. Actually, I presume this is the European release. The Japanese release was a lot like it was an IBM-based PC. Can I touch it again? And it was basically a giant computer, but it could actually play direct Mega Drive games with a Mega Drive controller. Wow, that's hard.
That's the game there, I assume.
How is the... It's got a turbo button. How's the turbo button? That's not turbo, I'm faster as mashing. I don't know how the turbo button works, and I still can't work it out.
Just shoot all of the things. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about turbo buttons.
Ah! Ooh, Rain of Fire. The game that not many people asked for from a film that no one really wanted. Yeah, and also it has Apache helicopters in it, which are in the game, but are shown in the advertising for the film, but are never seen in the film, like, ever. So, yay marketing lies, maybe? I don't know. It's basically just dragons and humans fighting, and playing as the humans sucks all balls, because you're in mostly unarmoured SUVs, and you don't get tanks until later, and then you go play the dragon campaign, it's like, I get to murder all of these humans, and they can't hurt me, hooray. At least in the early missions, and they get gunships and various other things. It's alright. It's an alright game. I played the demo of this like a hell, like absolute whole balls when I was a kid. Playing the one human level, having to go to this farm and then making it back without dying because you're in a non-armored SUV with no guns and you're getting killed by dragons. That's always fun. But yeah, fun game. From something no one really asked for. Comes with a manual, relatively good condition.
Mighty manual.
And of course a disc, which for playing the games it is. A little bit dinged, should still be readable. But it was only a quid, and I can see if it works. And I think it might be a reprint. I'm unsure because it's a silver disc. It might be a platinum edition. I have no idea. Now for everyone's favourite superhero game, Spider-Man 2 specifically. This is regarded as the best superhero game of all time, except for when Arkham Knight came out, and then
of all time.
Well, yes.
Really?
Yes. They've yet to make a Spider-Man game that's better than this, at least according to the fan base. I played this a little bit as a kid, and I was never big on the superhero stuff.
No, the best superhero game of all time is Aquaman.
We do not speak of Aquaman or Superman 64. You're bad for your heresy. Yeah, everyone loves a good Spider-Man game, and of course some wonderful CDs and manuals and stuff. And this is a 3 for 10 bundle, which is this game and the other 2 games I'm going to be showing. That other one was only.
You might do better showing the front of the discs as well, just so people can see what they look like.
This is a glorious disc.
I've never seen the game disc before. I want to see what it looks like.
Look, it looks at this. Looks like this. You happy now?
Okay. Woosah. Calm with my memories.
No. But yeah, it's a disc. It is a game. It is Superman 2, and it is regarded one of the better superhero games of all time. It's an open world Spider-Man game with really good web physics.
If you're new to the channel, Jack collects a lot of original Xbox stuff.
I have many of them. Next is another game. I actually have the sequel to this. This is True Crime New York City. This is basically this, and then there was either this was the first one or not. I'm unsure because I don't really know much about this series.
I've heard of this one. I know of Streets of LA.
Well, that's the other game because you got True Crime Streets of LA and then True Crime New York City.
I've never heard of
And I don't know which one came first. I have no idea because I don't have the other one in hand, so I don't have any dates on me. I presume this one came after. But then after this, of course, this is the series that evolved into Sleeping Dogs, which then Sleeping Dogs made one game, and then they tried to make a sequel, and then it died so hard that everyone forgot about it. Seriously. They're trying to make a sequel, and they keep trying, and, well, no one's really bothering to fund it, which is a bit sad. Look, it's a disc. It's a disc of many discs-ness. It plays the game. It's also rated 18. In 2005, that's quite an achievement, because, well, Halo and Halo 2 were only 16, apparently this is an 18, so... Activision did something to piss off someone at the SRB. Probably involves shooting someone. There's this. Oh look, it's an advertisement for gun. I have this game. It's a very fun game as a kid. I played lots of violent games as a kid. Probably why I'm so messed up in the head. Finally, very dingy box. It looks like someone's shoved up a warthog's arse. Seriously, the front of this game.
You paid for it.
Well, yeah. Literally, the front of this. I don't really notice something at the bottom of my bag. It is really. This could do with a clean, like with antibiotic acid.
I can see the grime on it from here.
It's really grime. It feels like it's been left in a peat bog for about 5 years. Probably where it belonged, because this was a pretty mediocre Pirates of the Caribbean game. Open world, players, original character do not steal. But yeah, I mean it's weird as well because the rest of these games say made in the EU. I don't know if you can see it there. I'm trying to adjust camera. There we are. It says made in Germany, whereas the one say made in the EU, so maybe this predates a few things. I mean, one's the year of production. It should say something on there. I was made by Bethesda of all people. Jesus, 2003. So probably like between 6 to 12 months after the initial release of the system. So I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean, decent game. Nice fun little exploit at the beginning, where one could make lots of money, get one of the really good ships at the beginning of the game with having very little effort. Because all hail money exploits. I'm going to do a jump cut now because I'm for the biggest item to do with the biggest item we have bought today.
Yeah, this is going to be a struggle to film, but it'll be worth it.
We'll find a way.
Yeah.
I'm glad to misbehaving. Leave that ass. No, I almost had him.
And you fail.
Never yet. He got away. First hell hurts the leg out. It's a lot of fun, but my god, it hurts.
Wildman Dano once again is trying to play a video game on an arcade cabinet. Will he succeed? We may never know. Wait, no, we will know because we're going to watch him do it. Right, slide, so it's in low. You got to kick it in high gear. Right, wait for it to go to so that you can do that. You've really got to yank the steering wheel.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So there's a lot of give. I don't know if it's just the age. Like seriously, look how much leeway is on that thing.
Catch the crims.
It's very simple to play though. It's actually the car is very responsive.
Try and get a good angle so you can see it.
Go this way. Low.
Whoa! You can press the boost button to catch him up a bit more.
That's what I'm doing.
You can only use it for so long though, because there's only so much boost. Go, Dano, go! Go, Dano, go!
I used to play this on the Master System back in the day.
I want this game in real life. I want this game myself at home. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Right, exciting target vehicle. Yeah, when you're low speed, you go flying low. Then okay, when you're up slightly high.
Catch the cruise.
Give me that button. Give me that button. Low and high. I love that gear change though. It's so nice and clunky. Right, put it low and put it high. Look how much leeway is in that steering wheel. I can't tell if that's just because of the age or if that's how it was back in the day.
Criminals here.
Oh shit! We got 17 seconds. We got one retry or one continue.
Give me that booty.
Come on, you can do it.
It's on fire, come on.
So you got like 4 more hits and you're getting 5 more hits maybe. Come on, come on, come on. You can continue. Yeah, time up. You press start. Hang on, is it not 82 from there? Oh, it isn't 82 from there, really? Oh, that's bullshit.
Oh well. I have failed. I am rubbish policeman.
No shit.
Policeman officer thing. Okay, Jack, talk away.
Yeah, what you're looking at here is probably the most sought after collectible for the original Xbox. You were looking at a boxed Steel Battalion original edition controller and game. Well, specifically the box of such controller and game. Yeah, this is significantly a pain in the ass to get. You can look it up online and see various prices and various versions. There were 2 editions of this game to be released. You have the original run of the game and with the original controller with green buttons, and then they did a rerun with, of course, the same game and with had blue buttons instead of green, which I'll show the controller shortly. And that edition's a little bit more easier to get hold of, but it's still quite pricey. And let's just say that the prices of these controllers alone can reach upwards of £500, and it's about $700-ish for our Yankee friends. Yeah, that is a lot of money just for a controller. And well, it's weird because this wasn't very profitable. Capcom, the makers of Steel Battalion, didn't actually make a whole lot of money. It was critically acclaimed and well received by many people, but didn't make a lot of money because of how much they had to spend on making the damn thing and making the game work. And well,
spin the box round.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's basically it. Really, it's a simulator game. It is all about tank.
It's a cool piece of tech that actually demonstrates what can be done with gaming that can't be done with anything else, which was part of the description we read. I admit, but
yes,
it's pretty much true.
It is. Also, all the size of the box, and yes, this only sets us back. And I say us because I wasn't the one who paid for this. £140, you'd have to tenner off.
So, just to give you a little bit of insight into this before we show off the controller and the gear that comes with this. Jack has been looking for this for many years. His dad used to have it back in the day, back when the original Xbox and back in that generation with the PS2 and the GameCube. And he had this with the original controller, and he traded it in when the Xbox 360 came out. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yes.
And but Jack has really missed this game, and he's been trying to get hold of it, but he's never found it anywhere, or it's been too expensive. So I just bought Sunset Riders pretty much early on into the day at the convention, and we walked into one of the other halls, and Jack just suddenly went, "Oh my god!" And I went, "What? What's going on?" And he was looking, and he pointed to this box, and he says, "Oh my god, I've actually found a Steel Battalion. I don't have enough money for it." And
what happened was that I said to myself, I dread to ask how much this costs because there's no way in hell I'll be able to afford this. I was asking anyway to have a look at it and actually twiddle with the buttons to actually physically get to see one of these things in real life.
So we went and had a look, and it was asking £150. £100, which I thought was pretty good. And he actually knocked it down to 140 for us. Jack didn't have like enough money.
Had 80 quid.
Nowhere near enough. So yeah, you paid 80 and I paid the rest. I would have felt guilty AF and really bad if I had. Because I know what it's like basically when you're hunting for games that you've been after for so long and then you finally see it and then it's like, oh, I've not got the money, and you just feel like, oh, really sad. And I thought, I need to help him out. And you know, I had a decent amount of money today through trading other things in, so, and I managed to buy what I wanted. So I thought, I need to help him out. I need to help a brother out here. So so I put the rest of the money, and we had to carry this back to Cannock from Walsall, which was fun. On the trains.
It's not massively heavy, it's cumbersome, and it is just a pain in the ass to move
just the size of it, yeah.
And also, you are reading that correctly on the back of this. Hopefully, it's the right side of the box where we mentioned all the Xbox. Only on Xbox. That's another reason why this is an absolute pain to get, especially cheaply, because this was a limited. Especially the Gen 1 controller here. It was a limited run. They didn't have many of them, and yes, this is the beast. This is 40 buttons. PC players, eat your heart out. This is probably one of the better controllers ever to be designed for a simulator game. If I could get another one of these that is slightly damaged, and then mod it for a PC, and then play things like War Thunder with this thing, I think this would probably be one of the better simulator things ever. You got eject button, cockpit, ignition, all your monitors, your tuner dial, all sorts. As I was saying before, it was only on Xbox, and this was originally meant to be for the PlayStation. Yes, this would be a PlayStation exclusive, but they were having issues with the power. The power of the system. Yeah. It didn't have enough CPU and RAM, and it just didn't have enough guff to get it working. So they were struggling, and then the Xbox finally released. Feel free, Dan, to mess a bit with that. The Xbox was fully released, and they decided to switch over to that dev kit, and they managed to get a lot more out of this, and it's going to be one of the better simulator games to ever be made. As Dano said, it shows what can be done with gaming, especially. Bear in mind, this is, and of course, this also includes the game, which I will show very quickly. There you go. This the game alone is like 40 quid, so the controller was 100 quid, and this was released in 2002.
The disc is free.
Oh yeah, there was a thing on the pages we're looking at, and the one IGN bloke was like, just to justify buying a $200 US controller, that the game came concluded for free. So yeah, and as I say, 2002,
and it has foot pedals as well.
Yes, foot pedals that are quite chunky and need a bit of depressing, and the manual, which is like, it's in multiple languages, but in total it's like 180 pages. Bit glued up there, but of course.
And the controller itself has 40 buttons.
Yeah, it is 40 buttons. That is an absolute paramount, and that doesn't include things like the joysticks or the lever or this button or various other twiddly things that you can do with all this. And I mean, I personally haven't played this game. I just remember seeing the controller younger, and I remember seeing this online and various other collection things. The game is a full-on simulator. If you die in this game, you go back to the beginning. There is no continues. There are no extra lives. If you do not hit your eject button, this big fat red button over here, when it tells you to, you die, and that's it. You have to start back to the beginning of the game. So.
I said to Jack earlier, this is probably my favourite part of the whole day, was actually helping him get this, because I know how much he's wanted to have this back again. It's considered the holy grail for original Xbox collectors. And for £140, I don't think that's too bad at all. And I was happy to help, to be honest, because Jack's helped me out before at conventions with certain games, like Majora's Mask, for example, and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. So I thought, I need to help. I need to help him out because, it's not very, very hard to get hold of. Limited quantities. It quickly became a collector's item due to the limited quantities. And I'm looking forward to having a go with this myself. Actually, it's not usually my type of thing, but it's a pretty amazing piece of kit, to be honest, especially for a console.
And it's like 2002. There are games that come out today that are a shadow they call themselves simulators, and they're a shadow of what this game is and what it could do. This pushed tech to its farthest reach, especially for home consoles. and it probably explains why it never was mainstream. Unfortunately, this is a console or a concept that unfortunately did not sell well enough to justify many games. It got this, the original Steel Battalion, which is the best one out of the bunch. Then unfortunately Line of Contact was an online only game, which is a bit of a shame. So if you do own Line of Contact, you can't play it. It just doesn't work anymore, which is a massive shame, because I'd like to interested to see what that was like, but I missed out on that because, well, I just was too young, and I was a bit disappointed I never have actually played that. And then we have the unholy third, the unholy trinity, and the complete piece of shit that makes everyone cry. Yes, we're talking about Steel Battalion, Heavy Armour.
Just before you talk about that, I'm going to jump up. Jack is now playing Doom on an actual old school PC.
IBM user.
On IBM PC. One of those.
Shooty. So you have to like super finicky, but you die, please. You die, please. Thank you. Look at it. Oh. I found a shotgun. Yeah, boy. Need a red key to activate this object. Okay, you'll find a red key. Okay. Pistol.
Don't miss too many shorts.
Now where do I go? Oh, that one. Oh. Where do I go again? I don't know where to go. Where's my objective?
Jack broke it.
I was just playing it. Sit down. Freedom points with it. Okay, so the game crashed.
How do you feel right now?
What?
You broke it.
How do I run the game? Start. Enter. Right, let me run in DOS.
Yep, carry on.
So Steel Battalion Heavy Armour, the Unholy Trinity. Unfortunately, that game was designed, instead of having a really nice, big, chunky controller that may have set someone back probably about 250 quid, because obviously it would have been an updated piece of hardware, they decided to take the cheaper route and use the Kinect motion control. Not a bad idea. Unfortunately, the Kinect motion control, especially the early models of it, and specifically the 361 in general, was a piece of shit, and I am not saying that lightly. The Kinect motion control and overall feedback was so terrible that the game is unplayable. No one has actually, I say no one, there's probably a fair few people that have done it, but they probably put themselves in much success to beat that game. Most of the time the game doesn't respond to your commands. You'll end up doing the same thing 4 times over when you're just told to do it once, and it's just so broken that unfortunately the series has been canned since then. I'd like to see them have another crack at it. I'd like to see them make a new Steel Battalions, because these kind of games are just unique to themselves. I'd like to see Capcom have another crack at this and do a new controller. It doesn't have to be limited just to the consoles. Do it for computers, because computers could get so much more out of this. I'd like to see them try this again, but it's unlikely because Capcom isn't in the best situation at the minute. They've only recently made money, which is off Resident Evil 7, so I don't know, it's unlikely to see them actually pull off a project this ambitious again, but well, it just shows how game companies like to push the tech back then, and well, in hindsight, this became a collector's piece. It took about 6-7 years for people to really be seeking these out. And then the prices went so high, it was just ridiculous. And well, here I am sitting with one that costs me 140 quid, which is absolutely astounding.
Job done.
One more thing I wanted to mention. I think I need Dan to actually to jump cut again, because I need to get my wallet, which is in my bag, to a shout out to the guy who sold me this.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Neil will be proud of me. Yeah, boy.
just to wrap this up, the person who sold me this for such an absolutely astounding price, and I'm sorry that you were really eager to have a go with this. I didn't get your name. I really am sorry, but Classic Gamer UK, it's an astounding price. Seriously, 140 quid for something this rare and something that should be massively more expensive.
You have their card.
I have their card. Of course, this is them. They're on eBay as well. Flip the card around. There's them there, and then flip it over again if you want. There you go.
Yeah, just give a shout out to
to these people, because that was an absolutely standing price. And once again, I do apologise to I can't remember your name. I don't think we even shared names. Bloke with grey hair. I am really sorry. We didn't have names.
Bloke with grey hair.
Older bloke, he had grey hair, and we were having a chat about this. And I really am sorry. You looked like you really wanted to have one last go with this before you parted with it.
Thank you, grey-haired man of awesome.
But seriously, big thanks for selling something this cheap, this rare for this cheap. I'm going to definitely get this in use. So there's going to be videos coming soon, and there's actually going to be announcements soon between me and Dano in the coming months.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff we've got to tell you guys and talk about, and about the future and stuff. So
might be in a couple of weeks.
Stay tuned to that. We're going to have to wrap this up because my camera's going to die shortly. So he has been Jack. I think I just want to put the camera on me for a sec.
That's with me. And
I'll take them off. That's my phone again.
God damn it.
So there'll be some proper update videos coming up about the future and what's going on with the channel. Things me and Jack are going to do. Obviously, why I haven't been around for 4 months on the channel because of life. Some, couple of big announcements there. And so I hope you enjoyed this little look. I'm including some other footage of the day where we played some arcade games and stuff.
Pictures and stuff.
And some photographs. They'll be spliced throughout this show and tell. And there'll be another show and tell video coming up soon of things that I bought just before, just in the start of the new year. That I never got a chance to film because I lost my camera. So, and now I found it. Yay. So, thank you very much. Happy gaming. Stay retro. Sorry, this has been a kind of ramble, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Rant.
It's not been ideal. I haven't had time to set my light up and stuff, and it's been a bit of a sort of bodge job filming wise. But
I think it's the one is good.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. Happy gaming. Stay retro. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.